It says we're live.
Can you see us? Hey, hookers! Coming to you live from Univision.
What's up, guys?
It's Sean, the actual justice warrior. Say hi.
Hi.
Thanks for coming all the way here to my house. Can you guys see us?
You actually don't live that far from me.
True.
We got to do that thing that everybody. Let's press 1 in the chat if you can hear us.
Yeah, press. Just because we've had so many. It's all my fault. We've had so many problems with this that you can see us. Correct.
It's not his fault. I spilled scotch on the stream.
1. Okay, we have 1s. We're good. Yay! Holy shit!
Somebody hit 2.
You bastard.
No, I don't know.
Sasculin, of course.
It's an informal poll.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Hope your mental health is as well as ours. I don't know how the hell we've gotten through all these debates, watching them. I think I figured out what a good coping mechanism might be, and that would be prescription drugs. Oh, yeah, we're drunk.
Sorry. I just wanted to see
Don't watch us while
I wanted to see the chat.
Chat's here.
I can't see over there.
So, where to begin? What a train wreck.
Yeah, this debate was not fun in any way, shape, or form for me. I think we should begin with the biggest losers of the night. And
which I would say also, hi to Carrick. These are Eric and Kevin are watching.
I don't know who
and they're Facebook friends with both of them, and now they're dating. So I totally take full responsibility for their relationship. It's all because of me.
As long as it stays in the positive, you're fully responsible for it.
Okay, so I guess we'll start with who was the biggest loser of the debate. I hate to say this, Tulsi.
I actually agree. She was almost a complete no-show in the debate.
No, and she should have known that this was her last chance to make an impression. I wanted her to go after Elizabeth Warren and kneecap her like she was friggin' Tanya Harding. And she failed to do it. She didn't capitalize on any opportunity. And this, I think, was really her last chance. I don't think we're even going to see her on the debate stage again.
There was one point where it seemed like she was going to go after Warren. Then they cut to commercial. And that was it. Oh,
yeah. But even then, she said, what did she say? How are you fit to be president or something? And it's that is not the question that's going to take her down.
It's such a dork question, too.
Yeah.
Because she's just going to answer that with, I led from the outside of Consumer Financial Protection Agency, yada, yada, yada. Literally, you're going to get nothing out of her from that question. So, why even bother with it? But I think...
I'm bringing up the chat, too. Sorry.
It's all right. I think everybody who didn't hear the point home on Elizabeth Warren, because she refuses to say that she'll raise taxes, she always shifts the cost. I think that they were definitely big losers for tonight.
Yeah, I agree. And you guys, I really hate to say this, but I just have a gut feel. I feel like there is a very solid chance that Elizabeth Warren is the next president.
Yeah.
I 100% think she's going to be the nominee. And the thing is with CNN, if you look at the Project Veritas, did you see the Project Veritas stuff that came out today?
I haven't seen it.
Or yesterday.
I've seen
CNN.
little clips on Twitter.
So, according to them, CNN really wants Warren and really doesn't want Biden. And I think that shows because we've had how many debates now, and nobody will ask Warren about the Pocahontas shit, which has been her biggest scandal. No, really push her that hard on the taxes, which, oh my God, by the way, drink every time Elizabeth Warren is costs.
And also, we're not responsible for any alcohol-related deaths if you drink every time Elizabeth Warren says costs.
Just our own.
She's watching this. That's about taxes. No, but that was frustrating. It's frustrating that nobody attacks her on that. Even Biden, who did a little bit in the last debate, completely missed opportunity. And it's just, it's like the essence of weakness in the campaign. You have to go after that. Because the Medicare for All numbers are all positive until you remind people that it actually costs money and you're going to have to raise taxes on people. So if you keep letting her get away with that, she's going to be the nominee.
Kevin said Tanya Harding, the first person to ever take a knee in professional sports. By the way, I just got the chat up and running. Sorry, you guys. I really suck at this. I'm an old man, but we're trying. So anyway, I have the chat up now. You can see your questions. So we have a bunch of notes. What should we go to first? So they started with impeachment. And again, I think this would go back to, unfortunately, how weak Tulsi Gabbard was, that she initially was against impeachment. And it's strange because every other position that she took, which I was really proud when she said, when I look at America, I don't see deplorables. So her being against impeachment would fit in perfectly with every other position she has, but it took her all of a day to backtrack on that.
And she even
She's drunk already.
No,
We're
well,
2 minutes.
she even did say that that she said that she was against it and then she supported it, but then she gave reasons why you should probably be against it. That if he gets exonerated in the Senate, he's going to be like totally exonerated from impeachment.
That's a good point too.
The Democrats came after me, didn't work, and like it's true. Like it's too close to the election for an impeachment to work.
Yeah, I don't even understand the point. And another thing, just going to the whole impeachment thing, another thing that I think shows how deranged Democrats have gotten, because they at least used to be strategically smart, you know, like in just my opinion, I think, oh my God, we have a super chat. Thank you. Super chat. Miles, thank you so much. You guys, super chats if you want to super chat me, or if you want to join my Patreon, because I'm a whore, the link is below. Tell them to join my Patreon. Join
Michael Harlow's Patreon, but also
the hostage video.
He needs to learn how to read the super chats because they leave you messages.
Oh, somebody, okay, so
they write you a message.
He said, oh, I'm sorry, you're right. You're supposed to read it. I'm sorry, Miles, thank you so much. Hey, Mike and Sean, Actual Justice Warrior, love your work.
Thank you.
We love you, Miles. No, that's funny because the first stream I ever did, I didn't even know that I had super chats. I thought it was like monetization where you need to hit a certain barometer that I hadn't hit yet. So somebody sent me a super chat and I didn't even notice. And then I got this like furious message from her that I didn't read it. So sorry. Consider this us talking about you later on.
Sometimes when I premiere a video, I get super chats and people will leave comments. They're like, why would you ask me? Why would you let me send a super chat that you can't read? I'm like, the video is a premiere, dude. It's already shot. But I'll read those out in the beginning of the next video to try and make up for it.
I'll read my patrons in my video, so join my Patreon.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is just my opinion, but I think George W. Bush was the worst president of our lifetimes. And if there was one administration that deserved to be impeached, I would think it's his. However, when Democrats took Congress in 2006, with Nancy Pelosi, they would not hear of impeachment. She was like, nope, we're not considering it, nothing, because they knew that Bush being so unpopular and so horrible was good for them politically, and they reaped the rewards of that in 2008. So I think them pushing impeachment so much shows that deep down somewhere, they know that Trump is much stronger than they claim he is, and it's going to be very difficult to beat.
Well, like Trump is more, he's like George Bush going into the 2004 election, they obviously couldn't try the impeachment. But like when he was leaving office, and it just goes to show you how political this process is that when he was leaving office, you had a better case against George W. Bush at the latter half of his presidency than in the first half for impeachment. Yeah. But he was leaving office, so they didn't care. And they asked those questions in the debates. They're like, oh, it's too late in the game to discuss impeachment. Because I think Dennis Kucinich was running. He was like the radical lefty, now moderate Democrat who works for Fox News if he's still there. Like he was running.
Which one?
Dennis Kucinich, and he actually submitted articles of impeachment, and nobody else supported it. They're like, it's too late in the game. But Trump's up for re-election, so now all of a sudden you need to be able to do it.
Well, and actually, somebody, I forget who it was, maybe some congressman had said on MSNBC, if we don't impeach Trump, he will win again. So it's just amazing that these are the people who talk about, oh, our democracy, and we're saving our democracy, and he's ruining our democracy.
Yeah, and again, they wanted to impeach him since before he took office. After he won the election, when he was president-elect, they were talking about all the violations of his oath to office that he didn't even take. So I don't know. I didn't like the way they framed the Hunter Biden questions. They're like, when Donald Trump threw out erroneous, completely false, and totally made up accusations about your son, Joe Biden, did that make you feel bad about your son? It's like the stupidest question you could possibly ask.
What the hell was I going to say? Oh, yeah, wait. So, wait, he told me about this, so I don't know if it's true. Just blame him if it's not. But, wait, Hunter Biden was crying in the video?
Oh, yeah. Hunter Biden was on Twitter earlier, and he was crying. He's like, I respect the office of the president so much, so it hurts me, like, emotionally that Donald Trump is making fun of his Ukraine stuff. Yeah, it's on Twitter. You can find it.
I got to find that. Somebody said that my hair is giving them 1970s Bowie vibes, and they like it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I told you. He was very concerned about his hair before we started. But other losers, there's like losers, and then there's no shows.
Yeah, and why was Tulsi a no-show?
Well, Tulsi's a loser because she was a no-show, because she
This
needed
was her
to
last
actually.
chance.
Yeah, she might qualify for another one, but
But
I
at
think
what point? But it's getting too late now to be polling at 1%. Like at some point, you have to. And she really seized that moment the last time with Kamala Harris and took control of that. So I was really disappointed that she didn't do that this time.
Kamala Harris is a complete no-show. After her first debate, like where she had a little bit of a moment, she's just been a ghost. And like she looked like she was afraid because Tulsi was on the stage.
Yeah,
she was coming for her. She stepped out of line. Tulsi would smack her up. But yeah, she's like imitating all of Hillary Clinton's gestures and like the way that she talks, like her entire cadence. And it's like, nobody likes Hillary Clinton. Although I am rooting for her to jump back into this race.
Please do it. Maybe when they all commit suicide.
Well, she beat him before, and maybe America does need a rematch of her beating him again.
How delusional are these people? Something that I thought was interesting with Kamala Harris is she got into a back and forth with Elizabeth Warren about why Elizabeth Warren doesn't support Twitter banning Trump, which Elizabeth Warren, as always, will not answer. And I didn't really understand that. I don't understand what Warren's thought process is with that, because her wanting the idea that she would want Trump banned from Twitter fits in perfectly with everything else that she thinks. So I don't understand why she would think so many of these other ridiculous things and want more censorship in other places, but she's cagey on that one, and she refused to explain what her thought process was.
I think but it's because banning Trump from Twitter is so petty. It's so stupid.
But they are so petty.
I know, but it's like Kamala Harris is like looking for the one thing that she can say that's so ridiculous that other Democrats won't sign on to it because it's ridiculous. So then she could say that they're not tough enough on Trump. And the fact that she picked banning Trump from Twitter is ridiculous. Also, they're talking about corporations interfering in our elections. You know what would be interfering in our elections? Banning the literal president of the United States. Banning any candidate off of Twitter when that's their primary mode of engaging with the American people is bad enough, but like the actual president.
Well, you had actually said this when we were watching it, but in the UK, Twitter had banned Sargon of Akkad when he was running for office. So these people have the audacity to talk about meddling in foreign elections. Twitter is an American company. That is a foreign election that they banned one candidate.
Well, they banned him and they banned Tommy Robinson.
Two candidates.
And that actually, it's worse than that, because Sargon was already banned from Twitter, but they banned his campaign account, which was separate from that. So it's like, not only, it's like if they banned Donald Trump, he would just switch to the president of the United States account, the POTUS account. If they then banned the POTUS account because Trump was operating it, like that's what they did in a foreign election. Like that's not acceptable. And Kamala Harris, because she's the most authoritarian on the stage, wants more of that.
She really is. Oh God, we have another one. Another thing, just drink every time they say this president. They won't say his name. It's like, I think people know who he is by now.
Well, they haven't pulled full Rashida Tlaib where they're like, the occupant of the White House. That's a hill I'm going to die on.
Conspiracy theorist.
That's who she's.
Did you see that clip? Did you guys see that? Wait, you didn't see that? You didn't see that? Oh, tell me if you guys saw this. So there's a clip of Rashida Tlaib in Congress, and it was a thing they were having a hearing about banning vapes, which fuck you, because it's the only thing keeping me sane after quitting smoking with watching these friggin' things. But so they had this witness who was there to testify about like vapes help her quit smoking, and so Rashida Tlaib was like, "Are you a conspiracy theorist?"
Yeah.
And then 2 seconds later, she's like, "Why were you winking at him? Because I thought it was a conspiracy."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's like, you talked to one of my colleagues. She's like, yeah, I have friends.
So it's a conspiracy.
She's like, what is a friend? I don't know what that is. I'm one of the most unlikable people in Congress.
Seriously, she is. So maybe let's start with the whole issue of taxes and healthcare, because none of them will admit. I mean, at least, Bernie Sanders, for all of his awful shit, which, by the way, no offense, but he looks like he has 1 foot in the... Him and Biden both look like they have 1 foot in the grave.
Bernie was so red in this debate, and I don't know if that was communicated to everybody else.
He definitely my TV.
Definitely tell us in the chat. But the thing is, I thought it was your TV because that's how red and off he looked. But at the same time, other candidates did not look nearly as red as it. Excuse me.
You've been drinking.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Yeah, other candidates did not look nearly as
Biden is red too. He just looked less red by comparison. But yeah, I mean, I guess at least you can say that Bernie Sanders
is like a color palette. You know, they're red. It's like faded out. Elizabeth Warren still looked incredibly white, despite the fact that she was claiming to be Native American. In fact, there are more red people on stage than Elizabeth Warren.
Red man bad. Oh God! And you guys had to see. I hope somebody out there make a meme of this. But that visual when Tulsi Gabbard was talking about how she would be the youngest president, and they cut away to Biden and Bernie and Elizabeth Warren looking over at her, who are in their hundreds combined, and they just look like they're ready for hospice.
Are they actually over 200 if you combine all their ages?
I think they're older.
They're all. Well, Warren isn't 70 yet, but no, isn't Warren 70?
She's so 70.
She's like a year younger than Hillary Clinton. So Biden and Bernie are definitely 70, and Warren, they're over 200. Warren is at least 60.
I mean, I will say to her credit, at least Warren doesn't seem her age. The other two look like they're about to croak.
I think she looks like the host of Tales from the Crypt Keeper. You know, we're not judging candidates on their appearance, except for when we judge them on their appearance. Speaking of appearance, I think Pete Buttigieg looked pretty young.
He looks like fucking Howdy Doody.
Yes, but a young Howdy Doody. And I think that really helps him. Now, all of his policies were boring and bland, just like everything that Pete Buttigieg says and does. But I did appreciate him at least attempting to challenge Warren on healthcare, even though, again, these candidates need to dog her point. They need I said it during the debate. Yeah. They need to pull a Chris Christie, where they state their question to her and then point out exactly what she's going to say, because she keeps regurgitating that same point about costs. And
costs.
Costs.
That's how stupid they think you are. It's always this sleight of hand trick.
Yeah.
Taxes. Oh well, costs. Did you he pointed out to me that whether the taxes Buttigieg of all people was like, well, the hole won't get filled in.
Oh yeah, the trillion. He kept talking about this giant gaping hole that needed to be filled.
And that's just Chasten.
I was like, oh my gosh. No transgenders interrupted this debate. I was very
Where are all the trans women of color?
CNN silenced.
You drink when somebody says trans women of color.
CNN silenced the trans women. I don't know if you know.
I have a friend who knows her, by the way. He was like, actually, she's a very nice person. I'm like, oh yeah, she seems lovely.
They they only let Blossom in. Bubbles and Buttercup weren't even allowed in the room. So you could tell that they were getting silenced. Yes, that is a Powerpuff Girls joke. You're welcome for that.
I didn't catch that.
I am here all day. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. I know.
I went over my head. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. I'm bad at this.
Oh, I pretend to look at it, and then I'm like, oh, interesting.
Well, so here's the thing, too, is I don't understand. Every candidate on that stage, whether they realize it or not, their only goal, their only mission should be taking on Elizabeth Warren. And I don't think that they understand yet that she is clearly going to be the nominee. I think everybody is still underestimating her.
Yeah, like her tribe is growing. She has some spirit in there. They don't go after Warren. That's depressing. As far no shows, can we just get to the no shows? So Cory Booker, Amy Klobuchar, Gabbard's a no show, but she's a loser for being a no show because she didn't show up. So that's why she's in the loser category. And I like Tulsi Gabbard.
I love her.
I don't love her, but I like Tulsi Gabbard, and she's pretty. But I like Tulsi Gabbard. Andrew Yang, Andrew Yang appeals to a very specific group of people.
Maybe you can explain what it is, because I don't get the appeal.
People who think that the same math joke is funny over and over again, and are interested in UBI. Read that.
We have a super chat. Thank
you. One second.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, but people who are interested in UBI, and I understand that appeal and everything like that. But the problem is that Yang doesn't engage with the other candidates. He doesn't attack anybody. So if you're not going to attack anybody and you're just going to talk about giving people $1,000, you're going to be a gimmick candidate.
Yeah.
And this whole idea that you can be above the fray and not engage and all that works when the candidates that are also attacking each other. So if Warren has risen because she's been in third, and Biden and Bernie kind of went after each other, and Kamala Harris kind of went after Biden, and nobody was really going after, and people were going after Bernie, trying to knock him down. That's why Warren rose up.
I actually thought this was Biden's best showing. I mean, I think Biden is so weak and so horrible, but I think he was, or maybe it just goes to show how weak everybody else was in this debate that I thought Biden somehow came out.
I'm like the only one who has been saying, you go watch my original video, I was dead wrong about Elizabeth Warren. I said Elizabeth Warren had no chance, and I was wrong about that.
I've been calling this the whole time. Watch my video with Blair and Brandon.
Yeah, but I said from the jump that everybody who was saying Biden needs to be counted out was dead wrong. He's an establishment candidate. I know they're trying to recruit Elizabeth Warren into that vein. She has all those Hillary people.
Well, she can
her.
play both sides.
Yeah,
I think.
But Biden's a true blue establishment candidate, and he has the political power to get other candidates to go out of the race that are taking his vote share. Bernie Sanders doesn't really have that. Like, if he had that, he would have knocked out Warren before. Elizabeth Warren doesn't really have that. Bernie Sanders is a cranky old man. His heart's giving out. He's going to hang on for dear life. And that dear life is slipping away.
Aw. Wait, sorry to interrupt, but I just want to say, super chat, thank you so much, Zach. Sasculin, give me attention, bro. I feed on it. I can't publish anything while I'm hungry. P.S. I don't want to objectify you, so I'll just compliment your hair. Now take my drunk money. Aw, thank you. He's my favorite. I love him. I wish I could friggin' get him. He's like one of the most talented writers I've ever friggin' met, and I try so hard to get him to like publish it. And I've been trying for like a year now, and I can't get him to. So, Sasculin, publish your damn writing, because you're really good. I wish I was as good of a writer as you are.
And a $10 super chat. That's
Thank you.
Goddamn impressive.
Also, I should say, sorry, I'm really bad at like multitasking with the chat and shit, and things are scrolling by. So if you have a question or something, maybe like put a star next to it at the beginning. So stand out.
Everybody's gonna put a star next to everything they write now.
Well, now they are that you said that. So wait,
somebody said Bernie Sanders reminds them of the principal in Beavis and Butthead.
Principal? Who's the principal in Beavis? Wait, who reminds them of it?
Bernie Sanders.
Oh my God, the principal!
Yeah.
I was thinking of the teacher, the lesbian seagull teacher.
Bobby Fricky. I'll read this super chat.
Oh my God, I love him.
Bobby Frick.
Wait, there's another one. Whoa, sorry, there's so many. Oh my God,
Yeah,
Bobby, thank you so much.
He gave us $19.99.
Oh my God, thank you.
$19.99.
He saved my ass when it's so nice, like making friends through YouTube and Facebook and shit. He saved my ass when I was in LA and I missed my flight coming home. Thank you, Bobby.
I've never made any friends through YouTube ever.
That's because nobody wants to be your friend.
That is true. I've never made any friends. I've never made any friends in real life either.
We're friends.
I don't know. He paid me to be here.
Fuck you! I did not.
I'm just kidding.
Dick.
He definitely didn't. He did make me sourdough bread, which was freaking dope.
Thank you. I made bread. Wait. Okay. Debate. We're serious people.
Okay, so we need to talk about this Democratic debate. So, out of all the candidates, besides all of them, which one are you definitely going to vote for?
If I
you
had
can
to
say all of them because they're all so good.
So you mean if I had to?
No, I said of all the candidates, and you can say all of them. Which ones are you definitely going to vote for?
All of them. They're amazing.
Especially Beto O'Rourke, who is just desperate. And you know what's sad is that Beto was desperate in the last debate, and that's why he was like, "Hell yeah, we're going to take your AR-15. Like, we're going to take it." Very aggressive language. And then he turns around in this debate. And all of a sudden, he's like, mandatory buyback. No. I'm not talking about that. Like, he backed down from a lot of his positions.
Yeah, and there was something, I forget what it was offhand, but there was something where other people on the stage were even more extreme than Beto was.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. Let's talk about buybacks for a second. I know that didn't come until later, so we'll jump around a bit. But can you explain to me what the hell the point of this buyback is? Because if it's a mandatory buyback, then that's just blatantly unconstitutional. But if it's voluntary, what the hell does that do? What the hell do you need to worry about people having guns if they're just going to hand them? Like, no psychopath, no person who's going to commit a shooting is just going to hand in their gun. Those are not the people we need to worry about having guns.
And, like, you're just making, like, average Americans who buy these guns at retail price sell them back for a couple $100. Like, the buyback prices are usually, like, $100 for a pistol and, like, $200 to $250 for a rifle. So, like, they're not, it's not even an economically savvy decision. But Beto is like, oh, well, I expect everybody to follow the law if I make it the law. But he's not even the worst on guns. The worst is Kamala Harris, because she's like, they've had years to fix this problem, and I'm going to give them 100 days. And if 100 days they don't give me a bill, I'm going to sign an executive order. It's like, that's not how the presidency works.
Yeah.
You can't say Congress has a limited time to exercise their power and then it becomes my power. That's how a dictatorship works.
Well, did you guys catch too? There were a couple minutes where they kept repeating the same thing, that they were like, "We're so close to getting it done. We're so close to banning assault weapons." What does that mean? They're so close to what? They don't have the Senate. They're not going to win this. Like, what is that? What are they so close to? Ugats? Like,
I mean, we could talk about how the assault weapons ban isn't even that effective.
No, it didn't do anything.
I didn't even want to get into but it doesn't even get all the guns that they think it gets off the street. It gets rid of some modifications. But yeah, I don't know. The guns thing, obviously I'm not going to like that, but the candidates were just not, they're just talking a lot of nonsense. And Cory Booker also, I don't remember anything that Cory Booker said.
I remember
he was doing the
he
thing,
said.
though.
What's that?
He was doing the thing,
What
and
thing?
you know what I'm talking about.
Him being a fag?
Oh my God. I disavow. No,
Disavow.
he was doing the thing where he's like, we're all Democrats here. Why are we fighting?
Oh, I hate that so much. I hate that so much because it's like, it's not like this is an election or you're having a debate. We shouldn't be arguing with each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate when they do that. Well, I liked when, did you catch when, who was it? Cory Booker was like, they have closed 2 Planned Parenthoods.
Oh, in Ohio. Oh, and we got
2 whole ones.
That brings me to Castro, and Castro wasn't even as nasty as he was in the.
No, he wasn't.
That was a fun part about his character.
That was the only fun part.
I really think the writers betrayed him in this one because, like, he totally broke from what his established character was. Because he said the reproductive justice thing, but he didn't go, black trans abortions, or any of that. He did say that. He said trans men abortions or trans women abortions in the first debate, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah, of course. Cal said Warren is Diet Hillary. Same taste, half the unexplained deaths.
Soon.
Sorry, this isn't loading on my phone.
That's because everybody Warren buries in her burial ground comes back to life.
Wait, what's that?
It's because everybody Warren tries to kill, she buries in the same Indian burial ground and come back to life.
Wait. Where are we?
I don't know. I just talked about Warren burying people.
Somebody asked AJW, are you a homosexual?
Huh?
Yes, we're having the sex. No, he's
Who
not.
said
I'm kidding.
Who said that?
We would be if you were.
Miguel? No, I'm not a homosexual.
Lucky.
I'm a pants.
Oh, God.
Pan?
You fuck
Pansexual or
Drill a hole in.
pangender? Or pangender.
Anna says, so funny because Warren is on the record saying she dislikes Hillary. Yeah, well, that's the thing with Warren is she's just kind of gone back on. I liked her maybe a decade ago. I thought she was kind of principled, but now I think she's the one person who can play both sides between the Bernie types and the Hillary types.
There's a difference between Warren before she was the candidate when she wrote that book where she was very critical of Hillary Clinton, and Warren the senator and Warren the presidential candidate. Because she never endorsed Bernie Sanders in the primaries, if you guys don't remember that.
No, yeah. Which was so cowardly.
Yeah, and that really could have helped him, and she never did it, not once.
So there was a lot of talk about health. What was it? I forget what it was, but you had made a really good point about something with Obamacare. I forget what it was. Well, he said something. But so anyway, there was a big fight between Pete Buttigieg and who the hell was it? Someone over healthcare.
Was it Warren?
Was it Warren? It was
Yeah.
Warren. Which is funny that of all people, Pete Buttigieg is the one to go after Warren.
Yeah, it seemed weird. Like I know Sanders might not attack Warren because he likes her, but like he needs to attack Warren. Like he needs to draw the distinction. Like she literally is stealing his 2016 campaign. Somebody wrote that in the chat, and it's 100% right.
Oh, we need to talk about. Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw this, but a couple of days ago, Bernie Sanders was on 60 Minutes, and they asked him about the differences between him and Elizabeth Warren, and he outright said, "Oh, well, she says that she's a capitalist, and I'm not."
Yeah,
really? Because I've been told for years now, oh, it's not really socialism. He's not a socialist. Democrat
he's a
socialism.
social democrat.
Yeah. So the mask
He's
is
just
coming
he's just
off
saying the phrase wrong. That's what a lot of people on the left say, and it's like, how many times does he need to praise authoritarian communist regimes for you to get it through your head that Bernie Sanders is a socialist.
Bobby made a really good point that Buttigieg is trying to skate back from the far left to the middle. He showed his far left hand too early. That's a very good point.
He's a weasel. Like, there's so many freaking weasels in this election that like they dance around. That's why I give Biden credit. He's like holding on to that middle lane. Like,
oh, and can we talk about who that guy was whose head was made out of wax that was melting?
The skeleton man.
As you remember, he was like, "Oh, I was the first person on this stage to call for. You're the first person on the stage. We don't know who the hell you are. You've never been on this stage."
Yeah, it's just first time appearing on the stage. He's like, I was the first. Before we started the pre-production meeting, I called for this. Like, how we were gonna do this. I walked on the stage before anybody else, and I said this. Yeah, he looked like the guy. If you've ever seen that John Carpenter movie, They Live.
Yes.
His face looks like the aliens when you put the shades on.
They Live is like a whole parable of the times we're living in. Watch John Carpenter's They Live.
I watched that movie yesterday.
Really? Yes. Oh, I love it. Really good point from Maggie, though, that pretty funny nobody asks these rich people how they became millionaires while making less than $200,000 a year. Very good point.
Well, Bernie wrote a good book. You can become a good millionaire if you write a good book.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Jonathan. Wait, sorry. Oh, God, I'm trying to keep up. Sorry, I'm so bad at this. I think this is like our biggest stream yet, though, so I'm very happy with that.
Uh-oh, somebody sent you a devil number.
A what?
You'll see it in a second. If you just click that. Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you. Super Chat 666. My kind of person. MC Neuropsycho Psychology? How do you say that word? I'm blonde.
Psychophysiology. Neuropsychophysiology.
Oh God, I'm an idiot. You're gonna want to like take that back now. Thank you so much. I'm liberal because I'm a marijuana scientist, but you're so relatable to me. Oh, thank you. Gay big mouth punk rock Italiano and speaks his mind. Badass. Thanks for being real. Oh, thank you so much. That's so nice of you. I feel kind of stupid like reading praise of myself, but I'll take it. Thank you so much.
I don't know why.
Grazie molto.
I don't know why, but that super chat, not a tweet. That super chat made me think of Kamala Harris's mom. How she traveled to the United States of America to cure cancer. Completely failed.
And she failed.
Completely failed on that one. Back to the drawing board. And then she's like, then she met my father in the civil rights movement. Skipped out of an arranged marriage and got divorced after I was born. I'm not saying anything, but probably connected to the fact that Kamala Harris was born.
Voting for any of the Democratic candidates for president is sort of like buying a vibrator from Nerf. Oh.
It's plushy.
Sorry, where were we? Oh, did you guys catch though? Sorry. Makeup chick. Every Tuesday, my boyfriend and I pleasure ourselves together next to each other, waiting till marriage for sex.
That's weird.
Same. I'm a whore. I'm kidding. I don't know. I should read comments before I read them out loud.
No, just read them out loud. That's fine. If you see any no words, you just gotta censor around them.
Oh, I've seen some. Anybody catch the beginning of the debate when Booker kept trying to talk over the moderators to yell about them moving on to a new topic after discussing impeachment? What was it that he said? Wait, I have it in my notes. He said something like, "We can't move on from this." Or something.
He did that. He did. I was wondering who was saying that. But yeah, I was wondering who was saying that, and it was Booker. He's just because he didn't get to comment on it. He didn't get to tell us how bad Orange Man is. Orange Man bad. So like, if you don't get a chance to do that, you're not going to be very happy. What is that letter thing that I'm seeing on the screen?
There's somebody whose name is Troll who's just like typing the N-word.
Oh, okay. Then just ignore that.
Yeah.
We don't.
Oh, and they think I look like a tranny. I do.
We don't play that game here.
Wishes they had nicer other things. Thank you. I thought my hair was terrible. So anyway, the only thing that I thought was like redeeming about Tulsi was when she called out CNN in the New York Times. That was awesome.
They did put like terrible hit pieces on her. She still should have called out the war propaganda because Trump pulls out of what's that country, Syria, and then all of a sudden we're seeing videos of a Kentucky West Point show being played up as if it's Turkey attacking Syria. So like we should have been somebody who's the anti-war candidate should have made a huge point about the war propaganda that goes on anytime you want to end these wars. But there was, which candidate stood up to her and actually made a decent, like they muddled it enough that like they seemed, was it Buttigieg?
With what?
That one of the candidates stood up to Tulsi Gabbard on.
Oh yeah, it was Buttigieg.
It was Buttigieg, but he actually muddled it up, and Gabbard didn't have an answer, which is weird because that's her key strength to his question. So it kind of sounded like, they had a draw and or Buttigieg won that. And I guess, Buttigieg is a veteran, so she can't really pull rank on them. But yeah, I don't know. It just seemed kind of weak sauce.
Yeah. Where's that? So I guess now, so we should talk about the stuff with wars a little bit because first of all, they're blaming Trump for the entire Middle East conflict. But it's just amazing because like everything that I've always thought made me a liberal, what happened to the anti-war left? Like they're all just arguing for continuing these things.
Yeah.
What?
Just let it go.
Should I just like,
yeah,
how do I get rid of this person?
You can. They keep making new accounts. You should just let it go.
It's probably some lefty. Tulsi has some great ideas. I wish they can incorporate her into the current administration, Maggie. Yes, Maggie, that's exactly. I wish that we could get some sort of like Trump Gabbard thing.
Oh yeah, I heard that people wanted her to replace John Bolton. And
if only.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
But it's amazing because they're talking about the resurgence of ISIS and shit, and it's been Trump's administration who has greatly diminished ISIS. So at this point in time, until somebody shows otherwise, I'm gonna trust what they think about it on the subject.
Yeah, and the Trump administration took away a lot of their territorial gains and all that. But another thing to jump back to it, that Tulsi Gabbard point, when she brought up the fact that they're smearing her as a Russian asset or like a Russian aide, like she is currently a major in the army, I believe, right? So I know it's somewhere in the armed forces, but she's currently a major, and like for you to take her and destroy her reputation in the press when she still goes over and serves and she's in command of their soldiers, like what are you thinking if you're taking orders from her? Because the media is smearing her just because they disagree with her foreign policy positions as like being un-American. It's really messed up what they do to her, like more than any other candidate.
Yeah, and I think, if they had any brains, they would be nominating Tulsi. But I think, unfortunately, it goes to show that the things that she's for, that she's anti-war, she's for free speech, she's against political correctness, she's not an identitarian. Democratic base of voters don't want that right now.
Right.
Which I think is kind of scary.
Well, I mean, they're all trying to appeal to the radical base. The crazy thing is about the Democrats is that the more identitarian people in the Democratic Party are the white people.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Warren and all these candidates that play up the identity politics thing, most of their support is white people. Like all Warren's support is white people. Biden's entire base of support right now is basically black people in the Democratic Party. And that's like the only thing that's keeping him in the race. And he's like the least identitarian-y of the major candidates.
Somebody had actually raised a good point with me that, they've now had 2 LGBT forums, 7.5 hours of them. It almost makes you wonder why they're putting in this much work for LGBT, unless maybe they think that in some way the LGBT vote is slowly slipping away from them.
Obey the gays. I think that's what's happening. No, I think it's the
Thanks, Kevin.
The wealthy. It's like the wealthy people that contribute to the Democratic Party care about being woke on these issues. Like your average Democrat doesn't care about the 57th gender or anything like that. Like they're trying to actually, live their lives, go to work, find good places to send their kids to school. Like they don't care about any of that. But it's like this race to the bottom and who can be the most woke among the Democrats. That's really, it makes those forums unwatchable. I literally don't watch those forums. Like I watch some clips from them, but I don't have 7 hours to watch these candidates all go to the same place and take turns one after another, bowing down to these people.
Trying to watch, and they've had 2 of them now, and I wanted to do a video responding to them, the LGBT ones, but I can't make it through them. It is, especially because like trying to quit smoking, and it legitimately gives me anxiety. It is legitimately painful to watch. Like, and I don't know, it makes me feel like a failure that like these ridiculous things have become so normal, and so that everyone has to march up there and give their pronouns, and they have multiple 8-year-old transgender children, and and legalizing giving someone HIV intentionally.
Oh yeah,
Like
Chris Cuomo, aka Fredo, absolute favorite person for doing the mine too.
I loved that, but then he apologized and had to grovel to the Gestapo.
I know.
I'm so sorry. I'm an ally. I support the LGBT.
I supported it forever. I was for gay marriage. They should all use that line. I was for gay marriage before Hillary.
Yeah.
Because it's likely true.
Saskulin said the LGBT town halls are for straight people to feel cultured and forward-thinking. Gays make up maybe 3% of the base. They don't care what we think. It's not about us. Amen, bromo.
Yeah, but what you're not focusing on is the black trans women of color that are being murdered in not disproportionate rates, despite what they will tell you.
No, don't get me started on this whole trans people are being killed thing. If you look it up, first of all, was it 20 people this year, as opposed to I think it's 50 people a year that get struck by lightning.
Yeah.
And if you look up each one, it was a robbery, it was domestic violence, it was somebody they had a pre-existing relationship with, it was drugs, it was some sort of hooking situation. Like very few of them were killed for being trans.
Even if they're none of that, it's like young black men are the most likely group to commit homicide and be murdered, because people usually murder within their own races. If you're a trans person, your rate of being victimized by homicide, a trans black woman of color, blah, 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 is significantly less than just a normal black dude that is between the ages, I think, of like 15 and like 24. So it's just not true. The per capita murder rates do not bear out what they're saying.
Ethan said he's hosting, he's with the Log Cabin Republicans. He said they're hosting a conservative LGBT town hall in Chicago in November, December. So, oh my God, invite me. I want to come.
What, you're going to invite me to that?
You, are you?
Remember, I only go places where people pay for my tickets and or flights and or hotels and at least 4 meals per day.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with these. Oh my God, super chat. Thank you so much. Miguel, thank you.
Miguel.
Miguel. That's what I'm going to change my name to if I'm like Beto O'Rourke. My favorite comedy is Schindler's List.
Oh my God.
Favorite character is the guy who runs the labor camp. He said that I didn't. BuzzFeed. That's going to be in an article.
Oh my God.
Awkward.
Oh my God.
Really, people.
I mean, you could make the argument that it's not the worst thing Liam Neeson's.
You know, it's funny, when I was a kid, they would make us watch, like, there was like a day where a teacher didn't show up in school, and they put on Schindler's List, and the teacher would just run in front of the screen and cover it every time there were like concentration camp people who were naked.
You mean the whole point of the
yeah.
Oh.
As if like, oh, we're gonna see their like.
You want to know something badass about Schindler's List? Is that Schindler's List and Jurassic Park, this is actually true, came out in the same year, both directed by Steven Spielberg. That's a boss year. Like 2 very critically acclaimed films in the same year, 1993.
Oh, hey, Oana, thank you so much. By the way, you're going to have to tell me how to say your name at some point, because I love your comments on my Facebook and I never know how to pronounce your name. So tell me. Oana? But thank you so much. Mike, who is the woman that you said Pete's husband resembles?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Oh, Hannah Gadsby.
Oh.
I think that's what I don't remember when I said that.
Self-deprecation is humiliation. We won't be doing that today. But yeah, so who are the big winners of the debate? We didn't get into that. And you have to judge it like not based on what you think or who you would vote for, but who do you think came away either the least damaged or the most improved in this debate?
Biden and Warren. I think Biden was improved. I mean, I'm big on that Biden sucks and is, I think anybody who supports Trump should be hoping and praying that Biden is the nominee.
I completely disagree.
Really?
Biden can cut in by poll. Like if you look at the polls, if Biden was the nominee instead of Hillary Clinton last go around, then Biden would probably be president.
But that's only because everyone hates Hillary.
But exactly where Trump is popular is where Biden, out of all the other Democrats, probably does the best. Maybe Bernie Sanders. In those like working class like areas of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, that's where Biden has his strength. I think Warren is the weaker candidate.
Oh, I disagree. I think she can appeal to the Bernie types and the Hillary types. I think there are a lot of people who could buy into all her bullshit. And also she's very good at giving off the appearance of passion strength,
Totally.
all these things. Really,
Here's what happens in a Democratic debate.
she's very energetic.
Here's what happens in a Democratic debate where there's 97 people on the stage. Somebody asks Elizabeth Warren about taxes, and then Elizabeth Warren says, costs are going to go down for middle class, corporations, and wealthy people. Costs will go up because she can't say the word taxes. What happens when she's on a stage with Donald Trump and she tries that? You're going to be like, you're too cowardly to say taxes. You're total coward, total weak, garbage. Like, he's going to keep bringing it up. He's not going to let that go. And when they don't answer the questions, like when they don't follow up on a Warren, Trump is going to keep hammering that home on the media that they never press her. So she's going to have to eventually acknowledge that taxes are going to go up. Otherwise, Trump is going to embarrass her in the debate. But she'll say she might change her position on what she's for. She might be
they're all going to
Medicare for all who want it. She might go Buttigieg in terms of her position.
Well, that's the thing. Oh, wait, sorry. Parentheses, by the way. Somebody asked me what's my Venmo. Thank you so much. It's Mikey Harlow. Thank you. That's so nice of you. And another super chat. Wow, thank you guys so much. That's so nice of you. Miguel, I'm going to read this in my head first. Mommy Tulsi. Oana means family. Is that true? And is that how you say her name? Anyway, thank you so much, Miguel. Mike, please do more Beto impressions. You do a better Beto than Robert. Thanks, Jonathan.
You gotta read your Venmo comments if people Venmo you.
Oh yeah, Venmo me.
Or they PayPal you.
Or that. I was saying something about Beto.
Beto. No, we were talking about Warren and the debates with Trump.
I mean, we were watching it though.
No, but there you got another one. But also when Beto O'Rourke, damn it, you got me saying Beto. When Elizabeth Warren is on the stage with Trump, he's going to bring up the Native American thing nonstop.
Because none of these people bring it up. But there has to be, parentheses though. Oh my God, thank you so much, Oana. Please tell me I'm saying your name right, because I feel bad if I'm not. What are you doing?
You're not supposed to look, you're supposed to pretend like I didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything. More bait. Oana, you gotta tell me how to say your name. I feel bad, but thank you guys. Yeah, but what we're saying, but it has to be more than calling her Pocahontas. Like, I think that's funny, but do not underestimate her. I think you guys aren't realizing she's strong. My name is pretty much pronounced Juana. Oh, so no. Oh, okay, Juana.
She has the strange. You never read her super chat thing.
Oh, I thought I did. I
didn't hear nothing.
Or I started to. There we go. I was gonna say you both at least deserve Shake Shack. Thank you so much, Juana.
That's nice. That covers one burger at Shake Shack. Shake Shack is very pricey.
He's such a dick.
No, dude. First of all, I'm grateful for you.
I am. Oh yeah, sorry.
I was just making a joke about the high prices of Shake Shack. That's a completely different thing.
Did Beto have anything?
Robert Francis O'Rourke. Robert Francis O'Rourke. He's trying to do Obama. If we were talking about this during the debate, how when he was running for Senate in Texas, he had all the Obama consultants like talking him up on body language.
Oh, and remember he was a moderate then. Oh shit! Sorry.
Well, he was like
I spilled my beer. Talk.
He was like an ultra progressive before he was a moderate, and because he was ultra progressive in the primary, and then he became moderate against Ted Cruz, and then he lost to Ted Cruz, but then he thought He thought I should fail upwards and run for president. But he comes off as uncomfortable on stage. Like I described it as him being kind of like, addicty, because he's always moving around. Like everybody has a way that they pose. If you notice when they cut to the other person that they're talking about, everybody has a way that they pose when that happens. And that's like training and teaching, and it's like you're supposed to pose in a powerful way. Elizabeth Warren in the first debate, she was like a freaking scarecrow. She was like, yeah, like in the camera. It's terrible. But Beto O'Rourke does not have that. He's literally like.
Well, they don't call him Beta for nothing.
Do you love me now, Dad? Yeah, but I also but he literally is shaking. Oh, Klobuchar was shaking.
Oh my God, Klobuchar! We haven't talked about Klobuchar yet.
Klobuchar has Parkinson's disease. It's, I think what's Mike.
She is a very frail human. And
that's what Mike was gonna say.
She's the one who abuses people and throws plates at them and shit. I don't get it.
Because she has the shakes. Can I get a bottle opener?
Oh yeah, wait, I got one. 1 sec. I wanted to read. Somebody asked. Yeah, sorry. Where was it? Was it Kevin? Harflick guy. Mike, I was introduced to you via your walkaway video. It brought me to tears. You're very brave. Aw, thank you so much. It's so neat. That was such a... I hope I've gotten better at filming videos since then, because my friend watched it and pointed out, she was like, ooh, that's not your angle. And she's right. Oh my god, super chat. Thank you so much, Bobby. Squad just endorsed Bernie. They had him before?
they're all Bernie acolytes.
Yeah, wow.
Ilhan Omar did put an asterisk to her endorsement of Bernie.
When did this happen?
It was she was like, as long as he doesn't, talk up the Jewish thing too much.
Oh, we'll put them in Schindler's List together.
Ilhan Omar was like, other than that. No, but they're all Bernie acolytes, but I guess they never formally. I knew Ocasio-Cortez never formally endorsed him. So. Well,
he had said just said he's doing an event in Queens where we live. So I think we should go to Queens. That's his thing. His special guest, it's totally going to be AOC.
No, it's going to be his doctor because it was after his heart thing.
Oh my God, Rana, thank you so much. We have another super chat. 1 second, I'm reading the super chat. Because I was wrong, and you both do. I didn't realize my first experience was likely a promo. Finally known for yummy. Lucky's is better, though. Enjoy. I've never had that. Thank you so much. You guys that's so nice. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it on Mike's behalf.
Are you opening it with your phone?
I can't. I've been asking you for the thing. And you've been like,
I was reading a super chat.
You can share it to me while you're reading it. What kind of uncivilized thing is this? I'm the guest. It's open.
What?
I see the bottom. If that's what you're looking for.
Oh, no, I was looking for nothing.
This is a really good beer. Here, let me hold up the label.
You know what's better, though?
So you guys can see it.
That's not the label, you asshole.
You should definitely get one.
You didn't hold up the label.
I'm not advertising this for free.
You're sad.
If you want to sponsor
this is what I deal with.
If you want to sponsor me, you got to email me.
What was I about to say?
You were about to say that you're actually going to vote for Beto O'Rourke, and I was going to say why.
I should. You guys.
Oh, it's the reparations thing. That's what you really need to get.
No, Elizabeth Warren is the one who wants to do gay reparations.
Gay reparations.
Actually, I should. I take back what I said that Biden should be the candidate. It should be Beto. Can you imagine if Beto O'Rourke was the nominee against Trump?
I'm here to say that you're starting up violence, Beto. You're weak.
Are you mocking me?
You're hiding your name. You try to out Latino Ted Cruz.
Sean, I find it very hurtful when you.
I'll tell you,
mock me. You're disparaging.
I'll tell you what. If
I don't like that.
If Robert Francis can get if he's the only candidate that could draw out potentially win Texas.
My name is Beto.
But if he was the only candidate that could win Texas, I would say that the Democrats should nominate him. But I just don't believe that that's going to happen.
You know who told me I can't win Texas? My dad.
He tried to buy me Texas. You got another.
Oh yeah, thank you. Miguel, actual justice warrior. Throw some shade on TYT. Also, she don't get me too'd. Who?
Who's gonna get me too?
Oh, but throw shade at TYT. That's like.
So the Young Turks is terrible.
The Young Turks sucks.
It is named.
Fuck you, Chank's nephew.
Oh my god, I don't even know who that is.
I don't know her.
No, Francis Maxwell blocked me on Twitter.
Who is that? I saw you said that.
He's that guy. He does those videos, the Facebook videos with the text that plug his Instagram.
Isn't that everybody?
No, but he compares I don't do Facebook videos. He compares two cases that actually are completely different, but he's but he claims the only difference is one is black, one is white, and all that. You never heard of St. Francis or all those memes about Francis Maxwell? You remember the Jasmine Barnes thing or no?
Who's that?
No, I know.
Who is that?
Jasmine Barnes was some girl that got shot she got shot. I'm trying not to get you demonetized by describing this. And
wait, so did everybody actually listen to what you're saying and that demonetizes you? Because I feel like Tim Pool is just paranoid. I'm so sick of Tim Pool saying "Oh, I can't say it. I'm going to say it. They're going to demonetize."
No, I love Tim Pool in every way, shape, or form. He's one of the hosts of those Minds events.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I love Tim Pool and everything.
I do too. It's just that's
actually,
a little
I
grating.
actually do really respect his work.
I do too. Just that one thing is a little bit grating.
But what I was going to say is Francis Maxwell. He blocked me on Twitter, and I never even bothered to follow
him. He said,
him.
"I'm gonna Me Too you."
Oh.
Maybe later. More drinks first.
But I didn't even follow him on Twitter. Yeah, we've lost like the structure of this. But honestly, the debate felt like it had very little structure. There was no immigration section. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, I didn't notice
maybe that's
that.
why Castro didn't really like shine.
I didn't notice that. There was so little about children in cages. Oh my god, another super chat. Thank you. Skyla S. Mike, please make sure my boyfriend makes it home. Hey, I want to meet you. Thank you so much. You got to come hang out with us next time. That's awesome. I'll make sure I send him packing. Yeah, I didn't realize that there actually wasn't all that much immigration talk.
Yeah, there really wasn't.
Wait,
it was like one reference, and it had to do with something else. It had to do with Syria, where they're like, you're letting ISIS go free, but putting like children in cages, like that kind of thing.
Actually, something I wanted to bring up though is this was more towards the end, but when they got into talking about breaking up tech companies and shit, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I mean, that's what led into the whole ban Trump from Twitter thing, but I'll leave that aside. I don't agree with their messages. Like, I don't agree with basically everything that was said. I have serious objections to. Like the tech companies saying that it would be harder to prevent election tampering if you broke up the companies. That's just not true. It's just more difficult. One of the reasons why it's hard to hack the voting systems in the United States is because it's all localized. So you have to have at least 50, different hacking operations in order to get into them. But so I don't agree with the Facebook defense against her, but I also don't agree with separating out their like advertising agency from like their video service, because YouTube as a video service is not profitable without the advertising agency. But I do think if like you need to enforce Section 230 or the spirit of Section 230, which is neutrality.
Sorry to interrupt, but two things. Cal said Tim Pool needs a beanie with a bow tie for special occasions. And Miguel had said earlier that the homo is going to Me Too you, and now he's come around on me, and he said this homo is an all right guy. Right back at you.
Mike is great. He's one of the walkaway humans.
And
he's not paid by Russia. I've asked him 600 times.
Oh yeah, when we met, he thought I was Russian and I was an axe murderer.
I didn't think that, but axe murderer out, jury's still out. But the what you call it? The Russian thing, I just asked that because that's like the common attack I see against walkaway.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, now we're going to be Ukrainian bots, I assure you. So when it comes to breaking up tech, here's the thing. I think it sounds at face value, if you don't go deeper, that there could be common ground with people like us and people like Elizabeth Warren and what they're saying on the issue. But these are not. If you watch what Kamala Harris has had to say about this, these are not the people that you want to be in charge of regulating social media.
Right.
I mean, they show that every day. Elizabeth Warren is trying to get political ads censored or banned or restricted from Facebook. So these are not the people who should be handling.
Oh yeah, that was another thing that was really questioned. They're like, oh, well, Facebook decided to show an ad that CNN wouldn't show, and it's like,
good. That's what the internet is for.
Yeah, but also like it's really shady for a network to censor some political ads but not others. So the idea that your network is going to take a position, that's what we call an in-kind contribution. And it's an in-kind contribution from a corporation.
Yeah.
So like these people all say they're against corporate influence and all that. But like if you're denying somebody else ad space but giving it to another person, then you're essentially giving the candidate you're not denying that ad space to the monetary equivalent of not having their opponent have it. So like that's weird. And Facebook and all that, even if you want to argue, CNN's different. It's a news agency. They can choose what ads they want and what ads they don't want. It's not like the tech companies are supposed to be platforms. So they shouldn't have the same restrictions as CNN.
Who was it that brought up the platform publisher distinction? Was it Castro? I was actually shocked when I heard that, which, good point, I guess. I mean, yeah. I'm just skeptical when these people who are identitarians and push such censorship and such control, I'm very skeptical when they start talking about this issue.
When you say platform versus publisher, and then you're talking about, again, banning ads, that's actions of a publisher. Like allowing an ad that you may or may not disagree with is something that a platform would do. I don't remember which candidate brought it up, but I did hear it. I just don't remember who it was. I know it was one of the dudes. I feel like it could have been Beto.
Who said that? No,
Yeah,
I think it was Castro.
Yeah, it might have been Castro.
Oh, we have another super chat. Thank you so much, Bobby. You're the best. Thoughts on Yang? He seems like a doctor who can make a perfect diagnosis, but his solution is always the equivalent of hacksaw amputation. I really don't get the appeal of Andrew Yang. Like, I totally appreciate the fact that he's not nasty like the rest of them are, and he'll have conversations. Like, Andrew Yang seems like he is not the type of person who will stop being friends with you when you walk away from the left. And I appreciate that, but aside from that, I really don't get the appeal. Like, he doesn't go on the offense. He doesn't. I don't get the appeal. He's just so milquetoast to me.
He's just universal basic income,
Which always makes me think of IBS.
So like everybody thinks that I'm like a huge Andrew Yang hater. I'm really not. My number one issue with Andrew Yang was, and probably always will be, the value-added tax, because I'm just in general against anybody who proposes any type of new tax, because no matter how limited, no matter how tailored, no matter how restricted it is initially proposed to be, it will eventually expand to be on anything. And he often cites value-added taxes in Europe, and those taxes apply to more and more things year after year. So I don't buy into a 10% VAT on manufacturing, because once that precedent is set, once they actually challenge that in the court, and the court rules that tax is constitutional, then any politician going forward will be able to implement a VAT on anything for any rate. And I just can't support that. So if he didn't have the VAT, or if he had an amendment to get rid of the income tax and replace it with the VAT, then we could have a conversation. But that's why I'm flat out against him.
I'm not too familiar with this. So can you explain for people like me who don't know much about it what the value-added tax is?
It sucks. No, it's like people call it like they say it's similar to a sales tax. Like the left will say that because it's like regressive. But he said it's going to be
shocker. The left being regressive.
Yeah. So he said it's going to be on manufacturing. And honestly, this is one of my problems with Yang, is I don't know how he's going to apply that. But essentially, a value-added tax would be like a tax at different steps of production when value is added to an item. So, like, I don't know, like, I guess this is probably not accurate, but I'll give this as an example because it's easy to know. So, like, let's say you have the car body and then you put in the engine, right? You've technically added value because now the car body has an engine. So that would be a tax, right?
That sounds terrible.
But, well, they have them in Europe, and I have to pay, like, when I was over there, I had to pay, like, that 22% at restaurants. It was crazy.
I think cars are actually, in particular, super expensive in Europe.
I think VATs, I forget which Scandinavian country, doubled the price of cars.
Oh, yeah, there was that one where it's like 100% tax or something like that. I forget which country that is.
Which double, because it's like, it's every step of production. And he says it's just going to be on manufacturing or automation, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Like, because there are things like an ATM is automated, but an ATM actually increased the number of bank tellers because bank tellers don't have to deal with petty transactions and they're actually selling you stuff at the counter. So, like, I don't know what that means. Like, automation from a certain point, because so much stuff is automated.
Yeah. What the hell was I about to say? Sorry. Oh yeah, I was going to say,
millionaires and billionaires?
The millionaires and billionaires. Give me your money. I'm going to give it to the blacks. I was going to say, I actually agree with one thing they said. Obviously, like I said, not the way that they would apply it, but I do agree that we need more oversight over antitrust laws and monopolies and shit, because it's out of control with a lot of these tech companies.
Well, it depends, because, like, I agree that if there's, like, legitimate antitrust cases, then you should enforce them.
Yeah.
But they call Amazon an antitrust issue, and I think Amazon it's 50-something% of online sales, but it's only like, I say only, it's huge, but it's 30% of retail sales.
I wouldn't consider Amazon one. I would consider, like, Google or YouTube, or Twitter, because what's the alternative?
Yeah.
What's the competitor?
Well, they would argue that, YouTube is a competitor to Twitter and Facebook is a competitor to Twitter, but they're not really. They're completely different.
YouTube, or
Yeah.
I will say one thing I really liked with Tulsi. This is the thing, when Tulsi says things, I like it, but she just didn't say much. I couldn't believe that she said that she was flat out against late-term abortion. I thought that was really ballsy of her to come out and say that. What else? Oh, and can somebody do me a favor?
I got a question from the super chat.
What? Oh, super chat. Thank you.
So our Kamiri or Akamura Archimedes. How do you
Is
say
that
that
a
name?
name? Archimedes? Thank you, though.
McCullough, says, "Hey Sean, did you see how that trans Sideshow Bob looking TYT contributor got dragged along with TYT for her past anti-gay tweets? Thoughts?"
Who?
So,
Wait, who is that?
okay, I don't remember her name. Her name's like Annabelle some such thing.
Is that the one who... I don't know.
I did tweet about this because they were mad at Anna people were like dogging Anna Kasparian for this, and I'm not a fan, but I
Clearly.
won't I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna jump on something just because it's somebody I don't like. So they were dogging her because they said that TYT didn't disclose that she was a surrogate for Elizabeth Warren, and so they thought that was a little like uncouth. And apparently she has all these tweets. So she's like a black trans woman, and she doesn't like the white gays. So like she has a lot of negative tweets in the past about that use disparaging terms for homosexuals and all that. And she was on TYT, and people felt that they didn't properly disclose that she was a surrogate for Elizabeth Warren. But here's something interesting. So you remember that cherry blossom,
cherry blossom
bubbles and buttercup thing at the Democratic debate? So that woman was actually a part of the TYT contributor that you're talking about, her group. And there's a video on TYT about how she didn't go to the debate because CNN said that she wasn't going to be allowed to ask a question. And that's what that whole "you have silenced the trans black woman" thing was about them not letting her ask a question. But she's an Elizabeth Warren surrogate. So CNN shouldn't let her ask a question.
No, but it's all, she's being persecuted. I thought there was look, I'll get into this more because I'm going to make a video about those forums, but I think it just said so many things that you had these people screaming about trans stuff and interrupting the only gay candidate. Like, this acronym has become so ridiculous because every letter amongst it, they all hate each other. And so when Cherry Blossom had her outburst, Don Lemon then said, "We are here to validate people like you." And I was like, you know what? I totally agree with Don Lemon for once. That is exactly what you are doing.
Didn't she deck a child in order to get that microphone? I don't remember.
But no, I was like, that is exactly what you are doing. You are validating unwell, unstable people who have mental and emotional problems and holding their instability up as a virtue. I'm not saying they're mentally ill because they're trans, because I'm saying that's because they are unstable people, as evidenced by looking at them. Cal said Jake Tapper just tweeted that the most tweeted politician during the debate was Trump. Not surprised.
Guess it's all ammunition for Trump.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But that doesn't normally happen. A lot of times it was Tulsi.
That
just shows how she's a no-show.
Sorry, I'm trying to do these. Sorry, go on. Oh yeah, this is what I was gonna say. Can anybody give us a fact check on this? So they had said something about how under the Alabama law, which I don't quite agree with, but I don't. Can anybody let us know if this is true? That they said in the Alabama law, a doctor can go to jail for 99 years for performing an abortion.
No.
I can't imagine that that's true, but I didn't have time to. So does anybody know the facts of that?
I mean, I don't. I'm not I wouldn't be 100% surprised. It depends on when it was, but I'm not super familiar with the Alabama law. I don't know if that's the 6-week one or the just no abortions ever one.
So if that law was 6 weeks, then what, a doctor performs an abortion at 7 weeks is going to go to jail for 100 years? I can't imagine that that's true. And if it is, obviously,
I think it's crazy.
But I don't know. I need a fact check on that.
Why not just put life though?
Yeah.
Why gotta overcomplicate it?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like there's probably more context to that or something.
Delivering abortions and they want to make sure it's life. They're like,
I would say though, if people don't like these Alabama laws, extremism creates extremism. We've had all these extreme abortion laws on the other side of late-term abortion and shit, and now this is what you get in return. That's just common sense. There's something. Sorry, where were we? I was about to say something. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, what have we not covered? Oh yeah, can we talk about too the fact how these people continue saying Trump is attacking our democratic norms and he's ruining our democracy, and then these people then say, oh, pack the Supreme Court, lower the voting age, abolish the Electoral College.
Yeah, there was some restraint on the court thing earlier, which I appreciated. But yeah, the idea, they're like, Trump is attacking our democratic norms, but also let's change the way we've elected every president since George Washington.
Yeah.
Nothing silliness. No, the Supreme Court packing is absurd. And I think it was Buttigieg. There was a couple of candidates, even Julian Castro, even though he kind of said, this is ridiculous, and then said he agreed with one of the ideas.
Yeah.
I think Buttigieg was in favor of, like, packing the court, even though he said he wasn't.
Half of them are, at least.
Yeah. But I think it was Biden who was like, look, if we add more justices, then they'll add more justices when they win. And then the Supreme Court will become an even bigger joke. And that's 100% true. Like, it would be a disaster.
Cal made a good point that he said the pendulum swings. Problem is that the Dems are expecting it not to. So they're surprised that the backlash is beginning. Also, got to give props to Biden for not wanting to pack the Supreme Court. Sure, I agree with that.
He was 100% right. The people forget that the Democrats removed the filibuster for judges, and then, except for the Supreme Court, and when they had the Senate, and then because they were like Republican obstructionism, blah blah blah, and then Republicans took the Senate, and then all of a sudden, dead Scalia's seat needed to be filled. And they're like, okay, we're going to nuke it for Supreme Court justices since you did it for all these other appointments.
Yeah.
How about that? And the Democrats had nothing to do. And Warren is like, she's like steamrolling down that path. Like, she's like, we need to get rid of the filibuster. My favorite thing was that she said on day one, she's going to have Congress pass an anti-corruption bill, and she's going to have the filibuster gotten rid of. And it's like, the filibuster's business.
Sorry, talk. I spilled something.
The filibuster is like the business of the Senate. The president has no power over the filibuster. And the other one, the House passing a resolution, again, that's the business of the House. So, like, Elizabeth Warren's day one, as dumb as all day one statements are, was uniquely dumb. Like, I don't know. I'm going to read some chat stuff. So if you guys want to say some terrible stuff, then you might as well say it now. My nose itches. I just want you guys to know that. Filibuster gets canceled, LOL. Press F for Mike's beer. Yes, Mike has dropped 14 beers on the floor. Mike keeps spilling things. Yes, that's the fact. That's why we shot this in his house. Politicians don't think ahead because of the transient nature of their careers. They never think that decisions they make that help them can be used against them if they lose power in the future. Which is weird because they're mostly lawyers, and lawyers go off of precedent. So you would think they would know that.
Sorry, I got up and realized I had to pee.
People are making fun of the fact that you're spilling your beers all the time.
Sorry, like, yeah, whatever. I think like two more points I wanted to hit on. Which one of them I was actually surprised that they addressed the opioid crisis, but I think that their way of discussing it.
Just keep talking.
I think their way of discussing it is what are you doing?
They're talking about the opioid crisis.
Are you popping pills or
no? Just keep talking.
So it's backwards. So they're talking about the thing. What is he doing?
Mike, just talk.
So they were talking about the fuck are you doing?
I'm advertising the merchandise.
So advertise it correctly. We need like the mirror thing. Okay, well, a word from our sponsors. You guys should subscribe.
Talk about your thing. I want it to be subtle, like subliminal.
Oh yeah, that was very subtle, Sean.
So they were talking about the opioid crisis.
They were talking about the opioid crisis, and their solutions are ridiculous. They keep making it about taxes and taxes. Taxes has
the 2% tax.
Taxes that is not what's causing it. Taxes has very little.
Everything's a 2% tax, by the way, too.
Wait, Cal said he laughed out loud when Beto said he has experience with opioids. He said that?
He said something like that.
I missed that.
Now, Klobuchar is the worst. She's like, I have experience with this. My dad was an alcoholic. And then she has that cheat. Can we talk about how none of Klobuchar's jokes landed?
Oh,
she had one opening statement of one debate that landed.
I feel so sorry for her because she always pauses for applause lines or laughing and it never comes.
She's like, Al Franken was a comedian in the Senate in Minnesota. I can be too.
You guys have to watch this thing too that he showed to me. It's this compilation of Amy Klobuchar making the same joke over and over and over and over and laughing
in different areas.
It is so cringy.
But yeah, she expects them to land.
Somebody pointed out my pants. I know. My zipper broke while I was in there. So excuse me.
God.
Why did I say that? Because nobody else would have noticed that except I read. Okay, so I'm gonna shut up now. So he has merch.
No, I don't. It's not launched yet.
He will have merch, and if you subscribe to his thing below, you can see his merch. And this will be one of the beautiful shirts. Hold it closer. What are you in fucking Antifa now? Beautiful.
You guys can be Antifa with my merchandise. So anyway, what he was saying is that the opioid crisis.
The series was supposed to be serious. We're news people.
Well, you keep acknowledging it. You're not supposed to.
I'm not supposed to acknowledge it.
You can get this bib soon in my T-shirt store.
I like your rabbit. Hey, did you see Us? You never saw Us? There are rabbits in it. Okay, so rabbit masks are like his mascot, and so I always think of you because there's a thing where she's like the voice in Us, and she's like rabbits. Oh yeah, thanks Miguel. Another super chat. Oh yeah, it broke. I bet an AJW watch out. What? I read that wrong.
He's making a gay joke.
Oh yeah, it broke.
How dare you? Anyway, so
hi, I just got that.
The opioid so the opioid thing they talked about a little bit, and of course it's Kamala's like prosecute the drug manufacturers, which by the way I don't necessarily disagree with people who knew that it was addictive and put it on the market, that they could be prosecuted or should be prosecuted, but I doubt that's going to happen under any of these politicians that are going forward. And Yang brought up a point that they paid a 2% fine.
For what?
They paid a 2% fine for their opium, like of what they made in money.
Who did? The pharmaceutical?
It was like one of the big pharmaceutical companies, Purdue. And that like started like the 2% tax on these opioids in order to pay for the stuff that they cause. And it's like, that makes no sense.
But that doesn't stop people from getting. I don't know. So for me, my mom was a junkie my entire life on pills and opioids and all that shit. And so I've really seen firsthand how a lot of these doctors are like drug dealers. They will just give you whatever you want, like candy. So I think that solving this problem needs to entail. This isn't a very conservative opinion, but I think something needs to be done about pharmaceutical sales, because as long as they're incentivized to keep prescribing shit, they're going to keep prescribing shit.
Yeah, there's like advertising issues, and there's also they shouldn't be able to sponsor all these things for doctors to encourage them to prescribe more.
Yep.
Like that's a real problem.
And I mean, just look at the way that all of these mind-altering drugs are pushed on kids today with Adderall and all of these things, antidepressants, all that shit. They're just handed out like they're candy, and taxes doesn't address that. Somebody asked me, Mike, do you ever touch yourself with your boyfriend? I don't fucking have a boyfriend. Find me one and I will.
Why would you do that? This whole point of a relationship is to like not do
right.
That.
Who do that one?
Who do you think he is? Louis C.K. Louis C.K. He had a sexual allegation scandal without touching anybody.
Right. So anyway, then at the end, they closed out on the most ridiculous thing.
Oh, that was the worst.
How is this the question that the presidential debate ends off on? Ellen.
Oh, no, it wasn't even that.
No, it was worse than that. You're right.
It was.
Okay, so here's the thing. I would have loved it so much, and this is where I thought they were going when they started the question, is I would have loved it so much if they were like, okay, what is one place where you disagree with the left? But they would never do that. So they're like, oh, tell us about a friend you had. And they're all fucking neocons, and they're all, like, there's no... most of them
Kamala said Rand Paul.
Okay, yeah, so...
It was not
I just mean the John McCains and the...
Yeah, Amy Klobuchar said John McCain because he can't deny that he was friends with her now.
Yeah.
That's the only reason she said it. Beto O'Rourke said that he drove from Texas to, which is such a Beto story. I ran into a congressman in the airport. Our flight was canceled in the snow, so we drove out there 16 hours instead of waiting.
You were saying
4 hours.
You were saying too when we watch it, I can't stand how the hell these politicians tell all their stories about. Well, I met little Susie in Iowa yesterday. Little Susie is sick, so sick.
I met this woman with cancer, and she said that only I cared about her, and if you care about people with cancer, you should vote for me. Like that's what those stories are. Yeah, but all their like friends on the other side, those were all stupid. And I was waiting for Biden to reference segregationists because he was going last, and I kept saying, I'm like, come on,
He was
Biden.
like, where are the segregationists?
And he was going last, so nobody could respond to it, but I don't think he did. It's a stupid question. And like they came back from the last commercial for that question. So it was like, here's the last 20 minutes of this.
Well, that's another thing that we were saying about Tulsi is that she asked the question to Elizabeth Warren and got cut off. But like, this is your last chance to make an impact, and you wait until right before the last commercial break. You wait until the end of it.
I feel like there'll be another debate that she could qualify for.
Maybe, but how many more opportunities does she have? I think Elizabeth Warren just keeps gaining momentum, and nobody's stopping her. Ooh, another super chat. Thank you guys so much. Damn, I really appreciate it. MC Neuropsychophysiology. Physiology? Side note, family in Naples saw your Cuomo video and asked what part of Italy your family is from. We appreciate you repping New York Italians. Means a lot to us. I'm Napolitan too. That's awesome. My grandfather was actually like a Neapolitan singer named Jimmy Roselli.
Wait, your grandpa was a strawberry chocolate and vanilla ice cream?
He identified as one.
That's what Neapolitan is, right? Is that the right ice cream?
Oh my god, I just got that.
Did I at least land that joke?
No, you don't.
No,
it's Napolitan.
Is that the correct ice cream flavor? Like
chocolate vanilla strawberry.
Yes. All right, I got it.
That's not. That's some Medagon bullshit. No, it's Napolitan. What are you?
American.
But what's your ethnicity?
Krypton.
Oh my god, another super chat. Thank you, Bobby. Mike, after you officially agree to join the Trump crew, I don't know. I want you to spike your hair up like a Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan. Tell me you don't know.
And yell MAGA into the camera. I don't know what that is.
Oh, you don't watch Dragon Ball Z?
No.
After this, we're gonna watch a 5-minute video of Goku transforming into a Super Saiyan 3.
That sounds like torture. But we were just tortured for 3
5
hours.
minutes of a character screaming because that's how hardcore the transformations are in that show.
Mm-hmm.
But the last question was a waste of time, and I don't know. Do you want to wrap in like 10?
Yeah, totally. Well, I was just gonna say one thing though about the whole thing. I'm interested to know what you think of this. What's it? Homosexual man, are you the giver or the taker? I'm only answering if that's an offer, bitch. Anyway, I'm interested. I'm gonna change my name to that, homosexual man. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm interested to know what you think of the whole Ellen situation, because I think I have a bit of an unpopular opinion on it. That obviously I'm happy that she came out and said we should be friends with people that we disagree with. Obviously, that's a really important message. But she's a bit of a hypocrite because she said that she wouldn't have Trump on her show. She wouldn't even have Melania Trump on her show. And I just feel like whenever Republicans are out of sight, whenever they're not a threat anymore to Democrats being elected, then we can praise them. And it's always the worst ones. So, if Ellen really means what she said and really has a principled stance on that, then have Trump supporters on your show. Have people in the here and now who would make some sort of impact, because that would be super meaningful if she did that.
Every Republican becomes acceptable after they leave office,
or when they're dead.
Yeah, or when they're dead, they become more acceptable. I don't. First of all the nonsense about class solidarity superseding gay rights, all complete nonsense.
Yeah,
like that. She just happens to be in the booth and all that, and like she's sitting next to him. And George Bush is funny.
What's that?
George Bush is funny. Everybody who's ever met George Bush in person has said that they liked him in person.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a lovely person.
And you watch the videos of him, he's goofy and all that. But George Bush is significant, except for attitude, right? Because George Bush is funny and likable. Trump can be mean, right? Like, let's keep it real. But except for that, George Bush is significantly worse than Donald Trump.
So much worse.
On everything.
That's what I don't understand with all these people who are so hysterical over Trump is like, do you want Bush back? Do you want Dick Cheney back? Like, right. I don't understand how people can even pretend that this is the worst presidency of our lifetimes. Like,
yeah, and there's like that narrative over Bush that he was controlled by Dick Cheney, so maybe that's a little bit of cover for hanging out with George W. Bush. But like, he's a goofball.
Yeah,
and like I'm not in that camp that you could every president should be hated and despised because, they all commanded the United States military and they all, in some way, ordered some kind of bombing or whatever. But George Bush, the Iraq War, significantly worse. In fact, one of the reasons Donald Trump is president is because he kept attacking Jeb Bush on his brother's record. And the fact that all his brother's people would be with him going into the election. So, I get it. Like, we'll see how she treats Trump after he comes out of office.
That's what I'm kind of interested to see, if he'll be one of those. Because how can they go backwards from this? I mean, they said all the things, too, about Bush and McCain, that they're Hitler and Nazi and all that. It was somebody on MSNBC actually said in 2008 that John McCain was a clear and present danger to our nation. So,
Sarah Palin is one 73-year-old's heartbeat away
from
But no, like the thing is like you have to remember with all these Hollywood people who can't stand Trump is that all of them, except for a few that he feuded with, but even some of them loved the guy before. They really liked him before. Like, listen to rap songs where they're like, we need to get money like Trump. Like, they all loved him.
Yeah.
So we've already seen, like, this is like the first time that the guy's been, that we've seen it in reverse, where everybody loved him until he ran for president. But when Trump comes out, don't be surprised, especially when there's another Republican, if, like, the Trump renaissance starts. So I wouldn't be surprised by that, because he's not nearly as bad as any of these people. Like, I always talk about what's going to happen when Donald Trump isn't president, when a Democrat wins, whether that be in 2021 where they get sworn in, or 2025 when, Trump can't be president anymore. Are they going to pretend like Hitler was defeated? Or are they just going to be like, okay, it's kind of back to normal? Because, like, he's not any of the things that they say he is.
No, like, I understand. Believe me, I get it why people wouldn't like him. But it's just, it makes no sense. I mean, the economy is good. No new wars. Like, what do you want?
Right.
We got another super chat. Thank you. Saskulin, have another heart, love. Please text once in a while. I'm lonely, too. I'll text you later tonight after Sean leaves. You're the best. I love you.
Uh-oh.
What?
Making plans after I'm gone.
Do
you want to, like...
Will they think you're going to stay?
Do you guys want to wrap and then... Do you guys can send your last chance super chats to
subscribe to my Patreon. Do you guys have any questions or anything before we go? Cal says they hate that the traditional political tactics didn't work on Trump since we already knew he was an asshole. That's a good point. Friggin' Antifa over here.
Well, the thing is that they call that they call every Republican evil and every Republican terrible when they're running for office. And Trump, unlike any other Republican, didn't back down from that during the primary. That's why one of the things I was saying is, like, I don't understand why these Democrats stop talking when the moderator tells them to stop talking. Like, go study how Trump won in that big crowded debates. He never stopped talking.
Yeah, that's a good point. Somebody asked, does anyone else think Elizabeth Warren is insufferable and phony? Like, girl, you so fake. Yes. But I think she knows how to portray herself.
She's faker than a Sacagawea dollar.
Who?
She's faker than a Sacagawea dollar.
What's that?
It's like that coin with the Indian lady on it.
Who's the Indian? Oh my God!
Sacagawea is the Native American. Yeah. Except because the Sacagawea dollar obviously is real and really based on a Native American, unlike Elizabeth Warren.
What was I looking at? Mike, do you use Discord? You should join my server. Okay, people always ask me that, and I'm going to be honest.
That's where all the gamers are.
I don't even really know what Discord is.
It's like a chat.
I can barely get this working. I'm an old man.
It's like a chat app where supermodels send me their nudes.
Who would you guys each say is worst case scenario candidate? So, okay, I guess we'd have to have two answers for this, because worst case for what we want to happen, or worst case. So I think worst case scenario would be Elizabeth Warren, because I think she has the best chance of winning. In terms of for the country, worst case scenario, Cory Booker. Beto?
To me, the worst case scenario I'm just gonna pick somebody if they assuming they would win, right? And then I'll pick somebody for the nomination. Worst case scenario is Kamala Harris. Like, she's true and tried, true and tested authoritarian, and she would also be like have the aura of a black woman running for or taking the presidency and all that. So you wouldn't be able to criticize her without being called a racist and a sexist.
Yeah.
So Kamala Harris, because she's like she has the least amount of respect for our system of government in what she openly advocates for. Bernie Sanders, obviously, to a certain extent too. But in terms of like possibility of the winning candidates, it's I think Biden is the biggest threat.
Really?
I think Warren. I think Sanders has a better chance than Warren if he were to win. But his heart takes him out. The nomination.
I don't.
And Biden and Bernie's like a bigger threat because Bernie is a socialist, like not a social democrat. He is a socialist.
It's actually I think it's I don't really know anymore what Bernie Sanders stands for because he is. You're right. However, I think it might have been Tucker Carlson who did this, but somebody put together clips of why does Bernie Sanders seem different now than he did last time, and they showed clips explaining it. That last time he was using more unifying language. He was talking about economics and jobs and us and we, and now it's just all identitarian. It's all social justice. This gay, this black, that, more than that. So who knows?
He feels like that's where he lost because if you look at people can talk about rigging all they want in the last Democratic primaries, and obviously there was shady stuff that went around, and obviously the DNC was in favor of Hillary Clinton. The DNC was funneling 99.5% of their donations from the state level Democratic parties to Hillary Clinton during the primaries.
Isn't that amazing? Can you imagine if that were Trump?
Which, by the way, is why they got wiped out on the state and on all those congressional races, because Hillary wanted she was willing to sacrifice the entire Democratic Party nationally so that she could become president, and then she didn't become president, and then Republicans had every piece of the government. But Bernie Sanders lost, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Bernie Sanders lost because he did not get the black vote, and the way the primaries used to be structured, it was Iowa, New Hampshire, super white, but then it was South Carolina, Georgia. It was all the big Southern bloc, and that's where Hillary wiped him out. So
yeah, I mean, of course it was rigged and it was horrible, but I don't know if it would have really made a difference. I mean, I guess we'll never know. Sorry, I wasn't looking at this. Let me see.
Yeah, so I think Bernie, I'm not in favor of socialism, and people are like, oh, at least Bernie's honest. Like, no, like his policies are disastrous.
Yeah,
he's praised. Like the thing is people say he's a social democrat. He's only started praising like the Denmark and like all that recently, like the countries that he'll only praise their specific policies. The countries that he praises are all communist authoritarian nations. Like he praised Castro's Cuba, he praised the USSR, he praised like all of these terrible countries. He praised China recently. He praised their communism for lifting people out of poverty.
Did you see there was a story? I forget the details, but you guys should look it up. That there was some city or town in the United States that raised the flag for communist China. It was like, was it Philadelphia?
Was it NBA town?
Like I don't remember. I think it might have been Philadelphia.
Was it?
I thought you meant where the NBA is.
Was it? No, like a fake town called NBA town. Was it Akron, Ohio? LeBron James' hometown.
No, but it was like,
and they were LeBron James's mansion.
But my point is that they were doing this in the name of diversity and stuff. So it's communism and authoritarianism couched in the language of social justice, which is what people like us have said.
Well, we should wrap this, but yes. I do want to say it is amazing that the people of Hong Kong sing our national anthem and wave our flag, and we're starting to see the Chinese Communist flag in the hands of Antifa.
It's so crazy. I can't with these people. Anyway, I think that's about it. Sean, thank you so much for coming on my little channel.
Thank you for having me on and for feeding me food. And like Mike's a great guy. I'm definitely gonna shout this stream out on my channel when I make my next video. That's my response to him.
Ooh, and I'm gonna do a guest video on his channel, but I'm still writing it.
Or we might do a collaboration.
We should do that too.
He lives like close enough to
you that
we can do that.
But yeah, I mean, you guys know who he is. He's freaking AJW. But for anyone living under a rock, subscribe below. Subscribe to my Patreon. I'm gonna do a new video soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was really fun. Hope nobody has hangovers that are too terrible, because drinking makes this a lot more tolerable, let me tell you. Love you too, Aiden. Love you, Cal, Bobby, Sasculin.
Ray, I'm gonna do this.
Juana.
Thanks. And also,
buy his friggin' merch that's
till
coming out.
next time. All right, that's it.
That's it. Good job. Bye. How do you shut
Yeah, you just hit that. And,
Bye.
Oh my god, it really ended.